just breezing through a thirsty Thursday here. Dow down 100 at 24.5. Bitcoin, tiny bit of recovery mode at 9,200 here. Picked up about 150 in the last half hour. And when we talk about liquid lunch and we talk about business and entrepreneurship and all that other stuff, one of the fastest growing things in the world today is digital advertising and marketing. And many marketing companies have now changed the whole paradigm where linear television is like a secondary model, and people are attacking social media for marketing in other ways. And an expert at this is Matt Conlin. He is the president and co-founder of Fluent and happens to be one of our contributors, Lauren Conlin from the Red Carpet Rendezvous, happens to be Lauren's husband. Hey, Matt, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thank you, John. Appreciate having me on today.
So you guys are in performance marketing. You're driving scalable customer acquisition solutions, and apparently you guys have some proprietary first-party insights that you have, so you're not scamming and scheming and slicing off other people's data. You're running different types of algorithms and stuff and search to develop your own proprietary database. Is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I think an easy way to think about our business is, at the highest level, we help advertisers connect with consumers that want their products and services, right? And if you think about, unlike the Facebooks and Googles, where if I'm an advertiser, I go on there and I buy media on a pay per impression or pay per click basis. When advertisers buy on the Fluent platform, they can actually pay on an action basis. So that might be they want somebody to sign up for an insurance quote. They might want to sign up for someone signing on for a new mobile game, or signing up for a streaming service, which is very hot right now and a booming industry for us at the moment. So, so instead of paying on the impression, pay for the action you want.
So for instance, if John wanted to buy ads getting people to watch Liquid Lunch, you could somehow make it so that he would only pay for the ads when people actually tuned in online to watching Liquid Lunch. Is that right?
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
So Matt, thanks for coming.
Let's do it. I've had this model for years. I'll pay you to watch this stuff, if you will.
Thank you for coming on, Matt. First of all, I know your wife Lauren very well. She's a friend of mine, wonderful woman, but I got to say, my sympathies. I am sure you have a rough time of it now and again.
We're talking about Fluent here, Frankie.
Yes, listen, she's lovely. She's always perfect, angel.
That's for sure. I am not going to ask you what the worst show she's made you binge watch in quarantine is, because I'm sure it's too lengthy a list to get to in a 2-hour program. But I am curious about how we consume entertainment and information now, and how that's changed the way advertisers reach audiences. You and John were talking during the break about the old days of television where there were only 3 networks. It was very easy. If you wanted to be seen by everybody, you just advertise on all 3 of those networks. Now, everybody is watching more and more programming that's on demand, that's subscription-based, that might be streaming platforms that don't have traditional, say, television or radio commercials. So if you're an advertiser now, aside from your platform, how do you reach people? Let's say you want to reach the audience that's primarily watching Netflix and commercial-free Amazon Prime. How do you reach those folks?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. So I think let's take a step back for a minute, because you got to think about the size and scale of this industry. In the U.S. alone, it's a $250 billion a year is spent on advertising, right? Half of that spent on television, out of home, print, more traditional advertising. The other half is all digital, right? And I think the interesting piece is you've got a lot of the big advertisers. Think Procter & Gamble and Coca-Cola, who, what they've always done is you advertise in the Olympics, you advertise on NFL and NBA, and just the tried and true forums where you can reach your customers. And it's all about branding. And all of a sudden, there's no Olympics, there's no NBA, and there's no place for them to deploy a lot of this advertising capital that they have traditionally. And so it's forcing a lot of advertisers to rethink, how do I reach consumers? And you think about P&G right now, really one of the best places they can advertise in the store, right? They're on the shelf. But at a future state, if you're not in that person's, in the papers and on the TV shows, eventually does your social capital start to wear out? Does the capital your brand has established start to wear out? And I think what we're starting to see is you're seeing accelerated move to digital. So more and more advertisers saying, how can I take advantage of reaching the right consumer through digital channels? And I think more often than not, what got cut first when the pandemic first hit was the advertising that was least accountable. So out of home got hit really hard, print got hit hard, and of course TV. And so those dollars in many instances didn't get redeployed. They're just sitting on the sidelines waiting for the economy to get back to normal. The dollars that did get put to work went to places where the advertiser could say, hey, I put $1 to work and I made $2 back. And you're seeing, go ahead.
Matt, my final question is, I've always been fascinated by technology that makes a comeback. Record players, for instance, theater never really going away. I'm seeing more and more people even use Polaroid cameras and wear bell bottoms. I know that you actually got your start, you and your partner Ryan got your start in the mixtape business. Do you see any scenario in which audio cassette tapes will be making a comeback anytime soon?
Just to be clear, mixtapes, it was mixed CDs back when I was in college. I went to school in the early 2000s, and at St. John's campus in Queens, everybody had the Discman. And I just happened to be in New York, and the hottest DJs in the world were coming out with all this new music. And so, there was a demand, and we had to figure out how to supply it. So, but no, I don't. I think the streaming services, Pandora and Apple, are going to dominate the earwaves for a long time to come.
Hey, Matt, I'm not kidding around. I really believe that commercial real estate is going to have a serious problem. My own background is, I short sell stocks, so I, try to find situations that are overvalued. I'm currently short, either by stock or options, a bunch of companies like Brookfield Asset Management, Simon Property Group, Mall Operator, AMC Theaters, because I don't think people are going to go back to movie theaters at any sort of capacity utilization for a long time. But I think the way the pandemic is changing marketing, the paradigm is changing there. I also think companies are now taking a much closer look at, hey, you know what? Like 80% of my staff is probably better at home. And they're going to look at, their lease renewal in 12 months or 24 months and say, wait a minute, I can have half the people come in Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can have the people come in Tuesday, Thursday. We'll alternate Fridays. And I can get, 50% less office space. And I think the whole brick and mortar footprint right down to malls is, been accelerated. The extinction of them, for the most part, has been accelerated significantly here.
Yeah.
Is there a question in there, John?
What do you think about the mall and brick and mortar? We're talking about malls here.
Yeah, well, I'm not going to speak ill on Brookfield because we are a Brookfield tenant down on Vesey Street in downtown Manhattan. But I think you're right, and we actually sent out a poll to our staff. We've got a couple hundred team members spread across North America, and we had to ask them, like, are you comfortable coming back to work, and if so, when? Majority of people are saying minimum 3 months. A lot of the folks are saying 6 months or more. Right. And the question comes up, what do you need to actually feel comfortable? And it's a lot of the standard answers. I need to make sure there's proper testing, there's proper social distancing. I want to have flexible hours, and that all makes perfect sense. I think the second question we went to our leadership team and asked just this week was, what do you need an office for in the first place? Like, what is an office really good for? And I think, because you're right, we've actually been really productive. Our team has responded really well in the face of adversity here. They've stepped up to the plate and they're working great over Zoom. But here's the thing: creative brainstorming sessions, client interactions, these things need to be face to face. Yeah. Right. And I think that's new hire training. We've got a lot of we got to build a great culture, and a lot of it was because your people are in the office, they're interacting. There's that water cooler chat. So that's the tricky part to recreate remotely. Yeah, and I think one of the strategies we're actually thinking about deploying is more of a hub strategy. And so think about this: why do I need 45,000 square feet in a Brookfield building downtown when I've got people commuting from Jersey, from Westchester, from Connecticut, Long Island? Why not have smaller offices nearby there that can encourage people to come in, still interact, maybe get a drink after work, and a good place to train, interact, and that same water cooler talk, have creative brainstorming sessions. So I think you're going
I
to see
think
a
you're
movement
right.
to that. I don't think real estate declines as much as just the big corporate, like cities. You don't need to be in New York City.
And I don't mean to pick on Brookfield. I respect the company a lot. They just recapitalized. They issued $600 million in bonds, so I'm sure they're going to figure out a way to work through it. They came out with a $5 billion revitalization plan, but I think lower-rise building owners are going to be a hub strategy, like you said. And I would look forward to talking to you more about this. And we got to talk offline about how Fluent can help Liquid Lunch.
I look forward to that. That'd be
All
great.
right. Thanks a lot, Matt. Matt
Thank you,
Conlin,
Matt.
president,
Thank you. Have a great day.
and co-founder of Fluent. These guys are changing the paradigm in social media marketing and everything you need to know. We're going to take a quick break. Frankie and I come back with more news of the day right after this.